So this is the latest installment in the kind of expanding monsterverse from Legendary Pictures. Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now this. So the plot. I mean, plot. Well, the story. Okay, the story.
Yes.
So they have to get Kong back to his original home. I mean original home. En route, they cross paths with Godzilla. This is the thing that you would have seen in the trailer of Godzilla and Kong literally having a punch up on a boat. Meanwhile, a sinister biotech company are cooking up an even more powerful adversary. It's not dialogue led. Here's a clip.
Delta 2
Get that Kong off my boat.
That's right.
You get Godzilla off my boat.
Exactly. Get that Kong back on my boat and get Godzilla off my boat. Okay, so of the previous installments, I actually really liked Kong Skull Island, not least because it was directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts, who made Kings of Summer, and who managed to turn it into a kind of a really odd little movie, which had nods in it, genuinely nods to things like Cannibal Holocaust. And I know that they actually were nods to Cannibal Holocaust because I asked him, I said, that bit with the thing with that's Cannibal Holocaust, right? And he went, yeah, exactly. And I really liked that about it. This, which is directed by Adam Wingard, it has nothing of that kind of sense of individuality. It is much more like it does exactly what it says in the tin, which is that it's Godzilla versus Kong, therefore you get big monsters fighting other big monsters. And one of the things it suffers from is that we're watching it at home, because there are sections in which it's big monsters fighting other big monsters and then another big monster. And whilst they're doing it, entire buildings are being flattened and knocked down and, devastated. And it all feels terribly inconsequential. And it's not helped by the fact that you're watching it on a small screen when you think, okay, if this was on a massive IMAX screen, that kind of might make some kind of sense. There is an impressive human cast. I mean, Rebecca Hall, Alexander Skarsgård, Julian Dennison from Hunt for the Wilder People, Carl Chandler, loads of people who are really interesting. Funnily enough, the only actor who actually makes an impact, and this relates to something that you were talking about before with Riz Ahmed, is Kaylee Hotel, who plays a deaf character who learns to communicate with Kong. And she is herself deaf, and I believe I'm right in saying that she comes from a deaf family, from a deaf community. And she has to do exactly the thing that Riz Ahmed was talking about, which is that her acting is so much more expressive than the acting of everybody else around her that she really stands out. And the point is that obviously because she's signing, and that's that particular line of communication, but also she is expressing the character through physicality, which, as you know, is something that I've always been a big fan of. And in fact, she therefore is pretty much the only character, of the non sort of CG monsters character that ends up making an impact. And in a way, if the film had been about her character and Kong, I would go, okay, fine, I'm in. I'm interested in this. But there's three stories going on at the same time. There's the one bit is happening over here where they're having to break into the lab and put the password into the didgeridoo, and then there's this other thing happening over here where the implosion of the whatever it is in the Hollow Earth bit is doing this, and then there's this bit, and so it's kind of. It is exactly what you think it is, no more, no less. It's a shame because there are elements in it that I think that would have made a more interesting film. And it's not a patch on Kong Skull Island, because Kong Skull Island did look like some absolutely mad multi-million-dollar movie that had been hijacked by the guy who made Kings of Summer.